they've been voted #1 by who they don't know. This is the show that's so hot it had to go live. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the live version of The Viewing Room with Ethan and Adam. And lots of other friends and snacks and bets. And maybe even a girl.
Welcome to The Viewing Room, where we talk about films new and old, local and global. Today, we're doing a little bit of a live stream.
Yeah, we're live because we decided to plan it, and totally not because we didn't get a episode filmed in time. That's totally not what happened here because we plan ahead.
We saw Thunderbolts, spoiler Thunderbolts, on Friday, and we chose to wait until Sunday to record, and then that didn't work, and then Monday didn't work, and we were like, oh, hold on a second. What if we just went live? And so we're doing it live. We've been teasing it for a while. We're now finally in. We're ready to go. And this is going to be a little bit of a interesting stream, per se.
Yeah, we actually have to be on our A game because I can't cut things out afterwards. So I got to think about what we say.
That's my greatest weakness, actually. That's the one thing in 20 years of life I haven't learned.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Marvel Studios Thunderbolts released on May 2nd. Okay, it had a budget of $180 million.
Yep.
It came out Friday, or like opened Thursday, came out Friday, whatever. Opening weekend, it's grossed $162 million. First couple of days. That's great. It's considered
for an
a
opening
success.
weekend. That's pretty good.
You know, it's
on track to break even at least.
It's going to make
more.
Money. It's yeah, exactly. So this is good. This is the first Marvel movie in a while that I've actually left the theater being like, hey, I kind of want to see a sequel to that movie.
Well,
or
that
I want to
makes
see
one
some
of us.
characters. Again, Adam takes a more cynical approach to life. And
No, I just actually can see when something is shit.
Right. Okay. Wow. On that note, this review will have spoilers.
Yes.
Okay. So if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, be warned. I mean, people aren't as serious as Marvel spoilers as they once were. But I'm like, I don't like spoiling things. I don't like anything spoiled. I avoid social media when I haven't seen a movie for a while. You know what I mean? It sucks. So, very sorry. You should probably go watch it if you're really into that. But like also, I mean, if you're not that into it and Marvel hasn't been like the thing for you lately, then hey, maybe this is a perfect time to listen to our review of Marvel Studios Thunderbolts Asterix, which we'll get into in a bit here.
Yeah, that asterisk annoys me.
It annoys you. Okay, no, we're going to get into that right now. Why does that annoy you?
They're not the Avengers. Nothing will ever replace the Avengers. I don't care what you say, they will not replace the Avengers.
They're not the Avengers.
No,
they're the new Avengers.
Yeah, and that's the same thing. It doesn't.
The whole world rejects them.
I don't care. They're not the Avengers.
Okay. There's an asterisk in the title. I thought the asterisk was going to be like something like, oh, like there's 5 dots in the asterisk. There's 5 of them in the team or something. They did a top-down shot in an elevator, and I was like, that's the asterisk. It must be. But then, no, the asterisk is just like a name change. So basically, they unveiled it's no longer called the Thunderbolts. It's called the New Avengers. Okay, so the movie's the New Avengers.
I mean, Thunderbolts didn't really make much sense either because, like, none of them were in the Thunderbolts in the comics, from what I've read, where, like, they weren't the leaders of them, or I don't know.
Well, anyways, they are the New Avengers now.
No, they're not.
That's a huge point in the movie, which we'll get into. Okay, that the world rejects them as the Avengers, but they're still trying to be the Avengers, and you're falling right into the trap where you're like, they're not the Avengers. Well, perfect. They even showed that in the movie.
Okay, good. They're not the Avengers. I don't care.
They're my Avengers.
Well, then that's fine.
phone.
I can't.
Oh,
now you dropped your notebook.
Everything I
See, this is what we cut out of the episode. This is what we cut out of the episode.
Oh, that's so sad. I'm just not even gonna do the episode anymore. I'm going home.
Okay, perfect. Now I just get to rant for an hour straight.
Make sure it's good.
I think we're probably fine. Here, I'll pull it up on my phone. Let's keep this going.
We're gonna have digital mustaches or something.
I don't think Gary would be able to figure out how to do that.
No. No, but the mic's being muted is one thing, I guess. Okay.
Yeah, we're good. We're live. Mics are
It
on.
looks good. It sounds good.
Yeah.
So exciting. Okay, let me read a synopsis of the Thunderbolts. Ensnared in a death trap, an unconventional team of anti-heroes, Yelena Belova, Bucky Barnes, Red Guardian, Ghost, Taskmaster, and John Walker embarks on a mission that forces them to confront the darkest corners of their past.
Taskmaster shall henceforth be known as Task Manager.
Well, Taskmaster is dead in the first 10 minutes of the film.
Very short lifespan in that one.
Well, I mean, that's obviously the spoilers that I was talking about. Cast. Okay, we got Florence Pugh. Okay, we have Sebastian Stan, David Harbour. More and more, but I mean, with these large ensemble casts, I kind of just tend to do 2 or 3 big ones, and then whatever.
Lewis Pullman as well.
Yes, he plays Bob.
He's kind of a bit of a rising star.
Yeah. Originally it was supposed to be Stephen Yeun. Due to scheduling conflicts of other shows, he had to withdraw himself from the project. But yeah, there's Bob, aka Sentry, Void, whatever you want to call him.
This was a thing I learned. So you know how Lewis Pullman played Bob in Top Gun Maverick?
Really?
Yeah. And so he didn't want to play Bob in Thunderbolts as well.
He's being typecast.
He's being typecast as Bob. Yeah, he actually wanted them to change it to his full name to Rob, change it to Robert instead of being Bob all the time.
Well, that's why his name is Robert.
I know it is, but
Yeah,
just an interesting thing.
Directed by Jake Schrecker. He did a few documentaries about is it Benny Blanco, the guy who's dating Selena Gomez? Or
I don't follow celebrity dating relationships.
He did a couple one of those. He did a robot film, but in 2012. But he doesn't have as big as maybe resume you'd expect.
To get a Marvel.
Movie. So very interesting. It was a good film in my opinion, but
well,
okay. Well, let's get into an outline, and we'll talk about some things.
Do it.
Okay. So, opening shot, kind of hear Florence Pugh talking. She's the sister of Black Widow, and she jumps off the building, and she's doing a covert special ops mission. She's part
well,
of.
At first we think she's just committing suicide.
Well, it's pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah, because she's talking about how she's unfulfilled and depressed and drinks too much and doesn't like her work and
then she just jumps off
the building. You're like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you're like, wow, a 9 to 5 will do that to you.
It will.
And anyways, so she jumps off the building. Fun fact, that was Florence Pugh, not a stunt double. In fact, Marvel wasn't going to let her do it, but she begged and begged. And then she said that she was being a Karen, and she started emailing Kevin Feige saying, hey, if you don't let me do this, I'm going to freak out. And
Tom Cruise.
And because she said, oh, think of how good it's going to be for the press tour, especially if we win a Guinness World Record for doing it. And they did. And yeah, so she did it herself. Then she slept for 3 hours afterwards because of the adrenaline crash. But yeah, she actually jumped off the second highest building in the world, the Merdeka 18 building in Malaysia, which is 2,227 feet tall.
Cool.
Yeah, jumped off. So cool.
That sounds like fun. Can I do that?
Yeah, sure. I guess whatever.
Let's do it.
Let's make you a will first, maybe. But yeah, very interesting. I don't think I'd fight to do that. I mean, if I was paid enough, probably if I saw the paycheck and they were by the way,
but if you're an adrenaline junkie, then
I'm not an adrenaline junkie.
Well, I mean,
I'm more of oh hey, look, let's eat Cheetos and sit in the basement junkie. I'm one of those junkies. Yeah. Okay. So she does this mission. We realize she's working with, I guess, a CIA lady. I forget her name.
It's something. That's all I remember.
Rosita. I don't know.
De Risotto. Here, I'm just gonna look it up.
She's part of this team. She does covert missions. She's very good at what she does, and she's just not happy. She's not fulfilled, like we said in the beginning, and obviously she misses her sister, and she just wants to have something in her life because she just feels empty, right? So she goes to her dad, aka the Red Guardian.
Here, hold on. I had it, and then it went away.
Anyway, so she goes to her dad, And her dad's like, "Oh, but superhero is so good. You got to be a superhero," because it's David Harbour in his Russian accent. And basically he's like, "Listen, like maybe it's time for you to like find a family and do the thing and be a real hero, a part of a team, because mercenary work isn't fulfilling, but like if you could actually be a hero for your country, then like, hey,
Valentina Allegra de Fontaine.
Valentina, yeah, Fontaine." Anyways, so she's working for Valentina, and Valentina sends her on another mission, and basically she has to go to this vault that's in the middle of nowhere because Valentina's getting investigated by the government into some of the shady things she's been doing on her side of the office. And yeah, so
This is one of my first problems with it.
okay.
So she's like, I'm going to be robbed. So I'm going to tell you who it is, and you're supposed to follow them to this location. And you gotta find out what they're going to steal, but you can't kill them. But then kill them, but you have to find out what they're stealing first. And my problem with that is if you know like who's robbing you and when.
No, she said to do recon because that there's someone that the government is sending there to go through her stuff.
Yeah, and so she knows who and when.
So not when necessarily. So,
Yeah, she did.
So Florence Pugh, Yelena, hid outside waiting for her.
I don't know. That just it doesn't make sense to me. It's a little sketchy.
It makes sense to me. Like,
no, it's just one of those things that happened because it had to.
well, she said someone from the government. Also, she's the one who sent Ghost there.
I know.
Right. So of course she knows.
Yeah, but my point is, does Yelena not think that's a little bit suspicious that she knows exactly when and where she's getting robbed?
Well, no, because the government can say, "Oh yeah, we're sending someone to take a look at this." Or and Valentina knows, Valentina, whatever. She knows that the government must be sending someone, although she's the one sending that person. Spoiler alert. So it's like she can kind of be like, "Hey, I know the government's going to be sending someone. Can you go out and do recon?" And sure enough, it's like, "Oh, hey, someone is coming." So I don't see really a problem with that because A, she's the one like pulling the strings, and B, Yelena's just looking for work, and so it's just like,
Yeah,
hey,
but
on the off chance that someone did go, you know what I mean?
yeah, but
It's
Yelena
like,
also has more of a survival instinct than that, I would hope. Because like
she
does
jumped
that
off
not
a building in the first 5 seconds.
Yeah, but she had a parachute, right? But like, does that not seem a little bit fishy? If I said to you, "Hey, I'm gonna be robbed tomorrow by someone,"
That's not what she said, though.
like,
If I said, "Adam, listen, I got into some trouble with the government. I have a feeling they're going to be searching my house in 2 hours. Okay, can you get there and destroy my files?"
but that's
You know
not
what
what
I
she
mean?
said.
You wouldn't.
She didn't
assume-
say that. To replicate that, it would be they're gonna be searching my house in 2 hours. Can you go there, see what they're searching for, and then kill them?
She said that someone was coming to the vault from the government.
Yeah,
Like
and
the
she wanted
facility
her
they moved
to find
everything.
out what they were looking for and then kill them.
Well,
Because remember, that was the whole thing. Is like, I'm supposed to kill you. No, I'm supposed to kill you. No, I'm supposed to kill. It's that Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other.
Again, if I knew that people like if you knew that I was in trouble with law enforcement and I was like, "Adam, they're going to go through my computer," like, "Oh my God, they're going to go through my computer. Can you do something?" You'd be like, "Sure, all right." Like, and then you go to my house and you'd see like, "Oh, hey, when they go." That's like this is simple.
I don't know. It
It's
seems a little
just-
off to me.
To me, it works. To me,
Okay.
it works. I'm not going to be a stickler for that.
Okay,
There's other things that I'll nitpick, but that
Okay.
seems like
fair enough.
I'm willing to believe it.
Fair enough.
So they go to this vault, super secret vault that's like underground on the top of a hill. Funny enough, Yelena's just like there at the top of this mega mountain, whatever. She has no vehicle or anything. They
Yeah.
don't show her. They don't
Well, she
show
probably
her.
got dropped by a parachute. She seems to like parachuting, so maybe they
She
dropped her.
glided from Malaysia to
Yeah,
the middle
right.
of Nevada. Yeah. It's a tall building. Yeah. So she finds out that Ghost is kind of going in, breaking into the vault. So she heads in, and then while they're there, all of a sudden, Taskmaster arrives. U.S. agent, aka like the old Captain America, like the new old Captain America. Did you see like the Captain America and the Winter Soldier or whatever, like the TV show Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Nope.
Okay, so this John Walker dude, He becomes Captain America because even though Steve Rogers gives the shield to Sam Wilson, the government's like, that's not how that works. So they take the shield and they give it to John Walker, who's won like 3-piece medals or whatever, and then John Walker becomes it. But then John Walker kills someone in the middle of a street who's like surrendering, and so then they like take the shield away basically, and then he's like stripped of his whatever, his valor. In that sense.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so John Walker's there, and they're all supposed to kill each other because basically Valentina was like, hey,
She's cleaning shop.
yeah, she's cleaning shop. So they find out it's an incinerator. They have to start working together and not kill each other because, hey, this is a setup, obviously. They meet Bob, who's hiding in a shipping crate. Basically, Bob is a test subject, but he doesn't know it yet. And Bob is a little peculiar. He's a little schizophrenic almost. He's had a lot of issues in terms of mental health, and he's addicted to drugs or was addicted to drugs, and so he's going through it. But he's just Bob. He's there. he's there.
Bob.
Yeah, and so they break out eventually. Taskmaster's shot and killed.
Yeah, well, this is another one of my problems. Who the fuck puts the power source inside the room?
Yeah.
The room that's about to be incinerated? Why do I feel like that would cause an explosion of some sort on a much larger scale?
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting point.
It just seems like one of those things where they do it because it has to happen.
They're trying to destroy all the evidence, so that part makes sense.
Well, no, but I just mean that's one of those things where okay, so they got themselves into this situation. The writers are like, ah, shit, we got them into this situation. How are we going to get them out? Oh, we'll put the power source inside the room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those things that they did because they had to. It feels like it's a lack of planning.
Right. Yeah. I'm sure there was other ways to do it too, because obviously
there absolutely could have.
Obviously, there's has to be fuel lines, to propane fuel the fires. So they could have just started destroying the propane lines in the ceiling, and then they have more of a natural gas problem, if anything. But,
well, that's the thing. Is it just feels like it's a lack of thought and planning.
Yeah, they almost ripped themselves into a hole there, right? Yeah. That I would say that's more of a writing yourself into a hole than a Yelena waiting for someone at the top of the hill.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
I'm agreeing with you. Actively agreeing with you. Obviously, Red Guardian's not there. He has a limo service now because he's talking about his work and how he's fulfilled. We see a little bit of his life and his past as a hero for his country, being the Red Guardian, which is used real Soviet footage, historical footage, with him just pasted in it. So pretty cool.
That's cool.
When they do that. And it was some sort of parade. I don't know what parade it necessarily was, but yeah, that was there. And so basically, during his time in the limo, he actually overhears Valentina, who he gave a ride. He gave a ride with his limo service to a government agent. Yeah, very, very interesting plot hole there. Very, very interesting. Not even just a plot hole. Okay,
that's just laziness, obviously.
Yeah.
Again, it's a lack of thought and planning and understanding of the character. I mean, Valentina,
I like
as
how
much
he
as we kind of
overhears.
don't like her, she's a smart character.
Yeah.
And that does not fit with her character to just talk about all this highly secret government stuff in the middle of a random limo that you just hired without vetting anybody. That's come on, guys.
Not only that, it happens to be the Red Guardian.
Yeah. Come on.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah, that one's a little rough for sure. But it does make for a funny moment where he's like, Yelena! And he speeds off to the middle of the desert with his limo to go free them. Basically,
I wouldn't say he speeds. He goes off.
He goes 45. Yeah. So basically, back at the vault, the Thunderbolts are working together. They're having a heyday. Everything's going great. But when they touch Bob, they keep seeing nightmares. Kind of weird. I mean, we'll get to
their own little rooms of sadness.
Yeah, little rooms of sadness. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. I was gonna make a joke, but that's just a solid way of putting it. Yeah. So basically they escape the vault by doing some crazy things. They climb an elevator shaft like back to back.
That's a
Like,
great line. It's like, so none of us have superpowers. We all just shoot and kick people.
yeah. No one can fly, right?
Yeah.
So they all go up. They climb the elevator shaft. They eventually get out, but the government is there because they realize, like, hey, they escaped, and we need to like basically like kill these guys before like the other government finds out because like, hey, this is super secret and could get Valentina impeached. So like, oh well. So obviously, Strike Force fails. Basically, we find out Bob is like a superhuman when he gets shot, and he turns into Sentry, and because he survived this government testing, and so he's like Superman basically. He kicks
Superman with a lot of mental problems.
yeah, like schizophrenic Superman.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the rest of the team escapes, and the Thunderbolts they get picked up by Red Guardian, but then the government starts chasing them in the limo, shooting at them. But then Bucky comes. We see the Winter Soldier. He blows up some government things. He takes them in, and he's like, "Okay, like you guys are gonna have to stand trial against Valentina." But then all of a sudden they're like, "No, this Bob guy, he's actually like turned into like a mega hero, whatever. We have to go save Bob." And Bucky's like, but like,
But no.
who's Bob? And they
Yeah.
keep trying to explain who Bob is. And then basically they find out that Valentina has Bob, and then she's like training him to be a superhero,
Yeah.
basically.
Then
and
he gets a
become
phone call.
the
And
Sentry.
he's like, oh, okay, I guess I take this seriously now.
Yeah. And so they go assemble a team. They're gonna go confront Valentina, but Valentina is like basically mind controlled Bob into being like her little like slave or whatever, like superhero slave.
Not mind control, just manipulated. I mean,
Yeah.
he's got a lot of problems and a lot of, I guess you would say, almost trauma in a way. You know, where he's like,
exactly.
he
Trauma,
has-
not in a way, yeah.
well, kind of. He has like a need for like fulfillment, validation,
Yeah.
fulfillment, like to yeah. And so all she does is just stroke his ego a whole bunch, and
Yeah.
then he's-
Essentially.
yeah.
Essentially. So a lot of stroking later, he's basically now he's Sentry and he's good to go, basically. He's a cool little superpower, and the Thunderbolts confront him, but then Valentina six Bob on him. He's like, guys, I don't really want to hurt you, but like if you don't leave right now, I'm gonna hurt you. And they're like, well, we can't do that. Like Valentina needs to go in, but he's like, well, we can't turn Valentina in. She's like my sugar mama now, and so he kicks their ass because he's Superman. Doesn't kill them, but kicks their ass. Valentina like uses a kill switch on him, but like all of a sudden, Bob's like, you know what? I don't need anyone because I'm literally Superman now, and I keep saying Superman because that's just closest.
It's
comparison.
Marvel's answer to Superman.
Yeah, exactly. And so the Thunderbolts leave. Their butts were kicked. They've kind of like they're no longer like a team anymore. Like because they're like they don't really have much, and so they Bob turns into the Void basically, and he starts sending people to the Shadow Realm when he like the nightmare rooms we were talking about, and basically like he sends them to the Shadow Realms where they confront their evil, traumatic past and stuff like that, and so basically people are just like disappearing and going bye bye, and like the world's turning dark.
It's Infinity War all over again.
Yeah, essentially. And so Yelena decides to go into the Void because she's like, hey, like maybe I can get to Bob this way. So she sees a traumatic past of hers where she like, lured a kid into the woods to be like assassinated basically when she was working with like the Russian Red Room or whatever. And then is it Russian? Is it
Yeah, it was Soviet.
Yeah. Anyways, so she goes through, she eventually breaks through to Bob. She goes and sees Bob in like this quiet room maybe, and it's like supposed to be like a calm room for him, and he's like, oh yeah, like been having all these problems and he can't control it because he's basically like there's like two sides to him essentially. He has good days and bad days, and so all the other Thunderbolts come through as well, and they all like work together to get Bob out, and then they
It's
fight.
a group hug.
And they fight.
They defeat the evil guy with a group hug.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
The power of friendship.
Yeah, they basically fight Evil Void with a cool little fight scene, but essentially they're just like, hey Bob, like it's time to have a good day. And Bob's like, yeah, my schizophrenia is cured. And like I'm not a medical professional, but I don't think that's how that one works. But yeah, essentially group hug, whatever. Bob's free. People return from the Void. And I guess the world is safe again. And Bob still has his powers, but like instead of being arrested or anything like like that. Like Bob's just free to go. So there's that. Whatever.
Yeah.
It was just funny to me because like when Harrison Ford turned into the Red Hulk in the previous movie as the president of the United States, we already know the president of the United States can't be arrested.
Yeah.
He destroys a bunch of stuff. No one dies. No one is sent to an interdimensional shadow realm. Okay? He destroys some stuff. Then he turns, whatever. It's like some property damage. Okay? He gets arrested and put in the raft. Okay? He can turn into the Hulk. Okay, boohoo. There's like 3 of those. We know what's going to happen. There's this guy who has invincible, godlike Superman powers who sneezes, turning schizophrenic, sending people to the void where they confront their deepest, darkest, traumatic memories. They free him, and then they say, so, you want a cappuccino or what? Like, you want to, like, and he's an Avenger now. What?
Yeah.
What? And they're like, listen, we can't put Bob away because he'll turn evil again. Really?
Yeah.
We already showcased that he sneezed once and almost like he lost control.
Yeah.
That's too fragile. Like there's something that you have to explore, a better option. But he's like, oh, don't worry. Like I just won't use my powers, and like I just won't use my powers, and then it won't activate that side of me. But I'm like, obviously his trauma isn't activated by his powers.
Well, and also what happens if you're, something happens and you just instinctively use them, right? To save yourself or someone else.
Right. And
now
then you lose control. Yeah.
Right?
But it's like, obviously he had those problems before he took super serum. Obviously, because he was like years of trauma and abuse and habitual drug use and abuse even. And then he's like, oh, but don't worry, guys. I won't lose control this time.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, you know what I mean?
How do you
it's
trust
like,
them?
It's not even that. It's just like, you know what I mean? It's just like, it sucks. It sucks. It's like, you obviously you feel for the character so bad, but it's like, how can you know like it's not going to be an issue when like obviously he didn't get schizophrenia from becoming a superhero. If anything, it just heightened the effects of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, they basically were like, oh, hey, his schizophrenia is cured now because he's just not going to be a superhero. But it's like, that's just not how that works.
No.
Like, unless it did something to his brain where it fixed like a chemical imbalance or whatever. But
who knows?
I don't know enough about that process.
Yeah.
So. I don't know enough about fictional superhero serum to know if it can cure schizophrenia. So I'm going to leave it to Neil deGrasse Tyson on this one. Because,
I love that about him, that he analyzes movies and stuff like that. That's so fun.
Yeah. Okay. This is the 36 MCU film.
Yep.
Figured I'd throw that one in there. It's one of the better ones as of late, in my opinion.
Emphasis on as of late.
We see a end credit scene. We go through, and it's about a year later. Oh, I should end the movie actually first. Basically, Valentina comes and like, hey guys, like, woo, good for you. You did exactly what you needed to do, and you stopped Sentry. And hey, Bob, and Bob just doesn't do anything about that at all. But Valentina's like, hey, by the way, I've decided to assemble the new Avengers. And then Yelena's like, well, by the way, we own you now, so don't try anything stupid. And the new Avengers are there. They're unveiled that these guys are going to be the next kind of super team living in Avengers Tower. And very interesting. The world kind of rejects them. The world's like, no, these guys aren't our Avengers. Like,
and I agree with them 100% and completely.
We find out Sam Wilson's in a bit of a legal battle because of the name and stuff like that, and like
apparently he put together his own team too.
Yeah, so they've got some Avengers kind of rocking around, right? Anyways, so Bucky's stuck in the middle between the two teams. Anyways, we have an end credit scene where we see the Fantastic Four for the first time, and by see the Fantastic Four, I mean the Fantastic Four jet, right? But they're coming to Earth basically. And making contact for the first time, so who knows what's going to happen. Yeah, there we are. That's Thunderbolts. That's a little plot. I should say the Russell brothers directed the end credit scene.
Yeah, I heard that it was a different director than the rest of the movie, and it was
Yeah.
shot like 2 months ago or something like that. Like it was way later.
Really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah. Well, that's a little exciting, and it's gonna be there. And the real title now is obviously the New Avengers.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Nope.
An unveiling.
That is disgraceful and sacrilegious and heresy.
Whoa.
It's not.
Explain why. Explain why.
They're not the Avengers. I don't care what anybody says. They're not the Avengers, and they never will be the Avengers. I don't care if they're the new Avengers or what. They're not the Avengers. They have nothing to do with the Avengers. You shouldn't just. It's like when they remake movies to try and with all the Disney live action remakes. What are they doing with the live action remake? They're not trying to make that movie remade. Well, they are, but they're not doing it for the sake of making a remake. They're doing it for the sake of capitalizing on a classic that they know everybody already knows and is going to go see. They're not doing it to try and create a good story. And it's the same thing with this. They're trying to capitalize on the Avengers name.
I just got a text. I'm supposed to be at work right now. I'm supposed to be at work right now. I feel so bad. I'm supposed to be at work right now.
You have to go?
Yeah, I'm supposed
Okay.
to, I'm like literally working right now. Oops. This is why I was like, oh, I feel like I have something to do this morning. Oops.
All right. Well, I guess we'll end it there, folks, and we'll revisit this later, I suppose.
Yeah. Yeah. I think overall they're solid performances. I would have liked to see more fighting. The Avengers these aren't the new Avengers, but I still like this movie, and let's just rate it. Let's just rate
Rate it?
Yeah. I have lots more to say, but I
do
think
too.
I have to be at work, so in 5 minutes.
5.5.
5.5. It's a 7.5 out of 10 for me. Yeah, I think out of recent Marvel projects, it's pretty good.
Here's the
I
thing.
like
It's
the
better than
characters.
than recent Marvel projects, but it's still poop.
Yeah,
Shiny poop is still
I don't
poop.
think it's poop. I don't
It
think
is.
it's poop. I think
really
it's,
is.
I enjoyed my time with it.
I have a lot of problems with it.
I enjoyed my time with it.
All right.
Thank you. That was our first live viewing room, and I messed up. I messed up my schedule so badly, so I have to head to work now. So I will see you guys later. Thank you so much. Have a great day. But we have to end the. Oh, but there's Gary. He can end this
Gary
stream for
can end this
us
for
right
us.
now. So that's great.
Yeah.
And
boy.
I will look at my
Actually,
schedule next time. I'll have to recheck my schedules next time before I record. You guys have a great day. We'll see if that ends properly.
All right, end the record, end the stream. You got a half hour. Like that's a
Yeah, but we didn't get to any of the actual.
I am supposed to be at work.
two-part series.